Imagine spending a pleasant day with your family, celebrating Canada Day with a picnic in an isolated park, when suddenly malignant entities begin to attack. This is the true story of a picnic that turned into a real nightmare. Are you ready to hear about the deadly picnic? Press play and join us. It was a beautiful July 1st, and the Silva family decided to enjoy the Canada Day holiday with a picnic in an isolated park. The place was known for its natural beauty, with vast green fields, majestic trees, and a serene lake. João and Maria, along with their children Ana and Pedro, were eager to spend a peaceful day away from the city's hustle and bustle. They arrived early, setting up the picnic near a shaded clearing. The children ran and played while João and Maria prepared the food. The atmosphere was pure happiness and laughter echoed through the park. Everything seemed perfect, a day to be remembered forever. But as the afternoon progressed, a sense of discomfort began to settle in. João, who was fishing by the lake, noticed that the surroundings were strangely silent. There were no birds singing, nor the sound of the wind in the leaves. It seemed as if nature was holding its breath, waiting for something terrible. When João returned to the picnic area, he found Maria staring intently at the dense forest around them. She told him she felt like she was being watched but didn't see anyone. Trying to calm his wife, João said it was probably just her imagination, but he couldn't shake off the feeling of unease. Ana and Pedro were playing near the edge of the forest when Ana screamed. João and Maria ran to her, finding the girl pale and trembling. "I saw something dark and horrible," she whispered, pointing to the forest. Pedro, who was next to her, said he saw nothing but felt a strange coldness. Trying to calm the children, the family decided it was time to end the picnic and go home. But as they packed their things, strange events began to intensify. Objects started moving on their own, and dark shadows began to appear in the periphery of their vision. The atmosphere became oppressive. The shadows moved as if they had a life of their own, surrounding the family. Pedro started crying, and Ana held her mother's hand tightly. João tried to stay calm, but fear was evident in his eyes. Maria prayed softly, hoping the malignant entities would disappear. Suddenly, a gust of icy wind swept through the clearing, and the shadows advanced. Nebulous and distorted forms emerged, hovering over the family. They were malignant entities, with faces contorted with hatred and eyes glowing with a supernatural light. João grabbed a tree branch in an attempt to fend them off, but his gesture was futile. The entities attacked, and the Silva family was engulfed in a vortex of terror. João was thrown against a tree, instantly losing consciousness. Maria tried to protect the children, but was knocked down by an invisible force. Ana and Pedro screamed for help, but their cries were drowned out by the wind, which seemed to grow fiercer every second. At the height of the terror, the malignant entities began to feed on the family's fear. Ana felt intense pressure on her chest, as if she were being crushed. Pedro, in a panic, tried to run, but was grabbed by a shadow that pulled him to the ground. Maria, despite the pain and fear, crawled to João, trying to wake him. When João finally regained consciousness, he saw his family being attacked by those supernatural forces. In a final, desperate effort, he screamed with all his might, begging them to leave his family alone. For a brief moment, the entities hesitated, their eyes fixed on João. But then, with a terrifying roar, they advanced again, this time with even more ferocity. The desperate struggle continued until, suddenly, the entities vanished as quickly as they had appeared. The silence that followed was overwhelming. The clearing was destroyed, and the Silva family lay scattered on the ground, exhausted and injured. João, with tears in his eyes, helped Maria to her feet. They gathered Ana and Pedro, who were in a state of shock, and began to walk back to the car. The sense of oppression still lingered in the air, and they all knew they would never be the same. When they finally reached the car and drove away from that cursed park, the feeling of terror still accompanied them. They didn't know what those entities were, but they knew Canada Day would never again be a day of celebration for them. Whatever attacked them was far from finished. Leave your comment below if you want to know the part 2 of this story. If you have a horror story and want to see it published on our channel, send us your story.